Well, fans of my next guest will know what a variety of roles he has played. Recently, he was strapped stark naked to a bed while Julia Mackenzie belaboured him with a horsewhip. This was during a break in rehearsals, of course, and Arthur Daly would never have approved. Ladies and gentlemen, George Cole. I think you'll find this one a nice little earner, George.
Very nice opening, wasn't it?
Did you like it?
No, I didn't. Most people might not have seen it, now they know.
Well, they suspected it, I'm sure. I suppose Cockney had the rhyming slang, had a sort of new lease of life through Minder, didn't it?
Yes, I think it did. It was used originally by villains so that police and people couldn't understand what they were talking about. But, no, the scriptwriters for Minder created a completely new rhyming slang.
Oh, it was a new language entirely, then,
Oh, completely. Yeah, half the time I didn't know what I was talking about.
You are a London lad. Were some vaguely familiar to you? And which were your favourites?
Well, I think the one I liked, which is the one that a lot of people had trouble with, talking about a dodgy kettle.
Ah, the kettle.
For a watch, yeah.
What? Yes, I've never worked that out. Kettle for what?
It's Victorian, when they wore fob watches. Kettle and ob? Fob.
Fob. Now it can be told. What about northern? Is there a northern equivalent, Roy, for this?
Well, there's Kerry Quat till I see the light.
No, I said, is there a northern equivalent of this? What was that?
Pardon?
What was that? What was it?
That Kerry Quat till I see the light. That's two fellas lost in a field at night. And they say, where are we, where are we? And one of them says, well, just keep quiet till you see a light, and then we'll know where to go.
You said this one.
Kerry Quat means keep it quiet till I see the light. Yeah. Fasten the galluses up, Fred, they said, I'll poise these stocking tops off, shut thee up, what's up with thee?
You could just sit there and play your face for a minute. We have lived with Arthur Daly very happily for 5 years. What do you think, George, about Arthur that has made him such a national figure and so loved?
I don't know. I find it very hard to understand. He's dreadful. Maybe people like the idea of someone getting away with something, someone being a coward, and it's a part of them that they like seeing portrayed. But I do not understand the popularity of that character.
Do you think he'd ever make the big time?
He dreams about the big time. I mean, every morning he wakes up, he hopes the telephone's going to ring and the Confederation of British Industry are going to ask him to become a member. But no, he won't make the big time. I mean, if you worked out the amount of money he lost each week, he lost more money than you can get on national newspaper bingo.
That's true, isn't it? What about you and Dennis working for the first time on that show? Did you hit it off at once?
No, it took us all of 2 days.
Pussyfooting around?
Just wondering how it was going to be. No, after 2 days, it was wonderful. And you say working together the first time. After we've been doing Minder for about 2 years, we were sitting in a car. Dennis was in the front with someone. I was sitting in the back, just talking. And Dennis was talking about a film he'd been in called Fright. And I said, you weren't in that. He said, oh, well, I said, you weren't. I was in that. He said, you weren't in that. Well, it turned out we were both in it. And the reason I hadn't realized he was in it, he played the part of a man who was murdered very early on and spent the entire film lying on his face on the floor, and I kept stepping over him.
Yes, you did quite a lot of that in Minder as well. Are you very different fellas?
Yes, very, yes. He's extremely gregarious, loves football, loves pubs. I hate football, I hate pubs, I hate people.
I can understand two of those. I don't believe the third, of course. You were first a spiv in the Centurions films, weren't you? We remember you in that very well.
Do you remember that?
Of course I do.
1950?
Oh, yes. Was it fun?
Oh, yes, it was enormous fun. I mean, all those comedies around about that time were great fun to make.
You spent most of your time lurking in bushes, didn't you?
Yes, I think Flash Harry was probably conceived in those bushes. And hadn't been much further during his lifetime.
We mustn't dwell too much on this, because life has not been all Arthur and Flash Harry. You've done some very interesting work as well. What is your next role?
I'm opening a play next Friday at the Duchess, Month of Sundays, by Bob Larby, who wrote, or was part of the writing team of The Good Life, Fine Romance, Ever Decreasing Circle. It's a comedy about an old man in a rest home. I play the old man. Oh. He's put himself there at his own expense because he can't bear living alone and just gives everyone a rough time.
And you're going to relish this, obviously.
Indeed I am.
The last time you were on stage, am I right, it was The Pirates of Penzance?
Yes.
Song and dance. Were you scared?
Absolutely petrified. But I was lucky. On the first night, I'm in Drury Lane, packed. I mean, there's nothing more exciting in the world. And I thought, what am I doing here? I don't sing, I can't dance. What do I think I'm doing? And I heard my cue, and I had to go on through a little door at the back. And as I went on, I hit my head. And I can only assume I played the first night with concussion. That's the way I got through it.
But you had you can almost match that story, Roy, can't you, with Singing in the Rain?
Yes, that's right. The Donald O'Connor bit where he runs up the wall and does the back somersault. Well, I've been practicing this for 6 months because I really did want to do it. And I'd done it a few times, but it was really hurting because it's just a little bit late in life to start all this running up, doing back somersaults, you know. And it was just half an hour before the big opening night, and I had to do my warm-up for this run up the wall, and I have a couple of chaps there to just be sure that I'm not going to land in the orchestra and things. And because of the extra adrenaline, as you know, I was all wound up because it's opening night. I ran up the wall for this practice thing and overshot these two guys completely. This one fella should have just helped me down like this, and he went, "There he goes." I tore all the tissue from the ball of the foot and really did a bad job on that joint there. And 2 ribs, which I didn't discover until a bit later because that was hurting so much. I hadn't discovered that I'd cracked a couple of ribs as well. So it was the same sort of thing. It killed the nerves, though. I wasn't nervous anymore. I was just worried. I couldn't walk. No. That's right.
You are very much a home bird, George, from what I gather. But you have to go abroad with your work sometimes. Is that a terrible wrench for you?
Yes, it is. I hate travelling anywhere. But when I'm working, I enjoy travelling. I've been to Russia, Germany, America, Hong Kong. And when one's working, I'm travelling, but not just going to sit somewhere and get brown.
We heard awful stories about Russia last week from Omar Sharif. He hated every moment.
Yes, I know. I was quite surprised. I had a very nice time there. One quite sweet story. I got a kidney stone while I was there.
That's very sweet.
That was very sweet. It was over very quickly, but in Russia, when you've had something wrong and you're better, you have to go to what they call the polyclinic. And I said, I'm all right now. They said, no, you must go to the polyclinic, make sure you're all right. I went along, and 2 very lovely young lady doctors, blonde, white coats, and the interpreter said something to them, and one of them came over to me, and without so much as a by your leave, pardon, excuse me, anything, unzipped me, stuck a hand in my trousers, and said something to the interpreter. And the interpreter said, she says, "Does that hurt?" And I said, no. And so she took her hand out, they went on talking, and before I could zip myself up again, the other one had put her hand in. And by this time, I had a great big smile. And I said, look, could you tell me the names of these doctors? Because you can't have a thing like that happen to you, someone you don't know. They blushed. And then they said, well, you ought to come back in for a checkup in about a fortnight. And then one of them said, but I'll be away on holiday for the next 2 days. It was a very sweet experience.
What part were you playing there?
I was playing a dog. I was playing a dog, and I looked fairly ridiculous, I can tell you. And Richard Pearson looked even more ridiculous. he was playing a loaf of brown bread. But I must tell you one other thing. When you go anywhere abroad, you're always going to have people on the unit who are going to hate the place before they get there. And we had several of those when we went to Russia. And I got out there, and they'd been there some time. And one of the said to me, look, nothing to worry about, it's all right, but watch out for the KGB detector vans. I said, how do you know them? He said, well, you can't miss them. They've got two big brass circular aerials on the top. And I went out walking and suddenly saw KGB detector van. And I thought, well, what the hell are they detecting? I mean, everybody knows what they are. So I asked one of the Russian actors, I said, these KGB detector vans, what is it they're after? And he fell on the floor laughing. He said, that's the car you hire when you get married, and those are wedding rings on the top.
What a relief. The glamour of showbiz, I gather, doesn't really appeal to you that much. I suppose your idea of hell would be a showbiz party.
Yes.
I thought it would be. So,
yes.
What about you and her indoors? Do you not go out very much?
I have to if she drags me out. I mean, I don't want to go.
Local pubs or restaurants?
Well, one of the local pubs, I've been living where I am now for about 22 years. And, well, it must have been about 20 years because I just married Penny. And on our way home, she said, let's go in the pub and have a drink. She didn't actually. She said, I want some eggs. Let's go in the pub and buy some eggs. So while we're in the pub, we had to have a drink.
Mm. Or an omelette.
And it's about 2.5 miles away from my home, where I'd been living for 15, 20 years. And the barman said, oh, well, you thinking of moving down here?
I take your point. You became, like several of us, a mature dad. You were, I think, in your 40s, was it, when you had your...
Second lot.
Second lot, yeah. I mean, do you recommend that? I mean...
No. It has one great drawback. You have to sit through all those children's television programs. Crackerjack.
What have you been able to teach your children? What do you share?
Gambling. It's enough, isn't it?
You see, I knew it. Arthur Daly lives. For the moment, George Cole, thank you very much indeed. Thank you, George. And after the break, Sir Harry Seacombe.